proposition. So what we really mean by that is how to conduct a meeting properly. And I think we need to be aware, firstly, are we on Zoom or are we in person? If we're in Zoom, let's make sure our lighting's right. Let's make sure our screen, our backing screen is correct. And just let's make sure that our presentation is going to be superior to the person that's in front of us, or microphone, all the stuff that we need, right? Before the meeting, we need to have some form of an agenda set, so they're aware of how long we have and what we kind of want to cover within that meeting process. Then as soon as we get into the meeting, the first thing we want to do is just have a bit of chit chat to make everybody feel comfortable. Okay. Second thing we want to do is we want to set the agenda. So we're rehashing that agenda. And what that agenda should look like is us understanding their business. So before getting into like the actual job, I want to find out more about who the business is, where they're at, what their growth plans are. And then I want to start talking about the team that they have, the department team, and then we want to go from big to small to get all the details out. So now that we're in the process of finding out about the job, we've learned about the company, we've learned about the team, we've learned about the leaders. We want to start asking about how the job came about. So is it a new job? Is it an existing job? Is it a replacement hire? Like, where exactly is it at? Why has it come about? What have they done to find this person already? What if that is they've used agencies or search firms or whatever, we want to figure out why hasn't it worked. Let's not just accept the answer because that agency was crap. Like, let's drill down into it. In the process, did people get offered the job? Did we drill down as to why people didn't accept the job? Was it, or did you get many people interested in it? Was it the right type of people? Have they been targeted right? When we get them into the process, was the money enough? Was the value proposition of the job enough? If I jump onto Glassdoor, what's it going to say about your company? What if I was to ask your competitors about you, what would they say? If I was to ask people, the last 3 people who left your company, what would they say about it? The person who this reports into, have they built, how long have they been in the business? Like all of that stuff. We want to get right into the micro detail of this. So once we get, like, we figure out where they're at, what we're trying to figure out is it worth our time? We're trying to find out their exact pain points, how urgently they need that. And judging on how much time they have, we either pitch or we don't pitch. So if we have them on, like, if they're like, hey, I've got an hour, no problem. Great, brilliant. Then we can pitch at the second half. However, if it's just a quick call to ascertain where we're at, we want to not pitch. So, but once we understand what we've done in the needs analysis, is we've understand all their pain points. So before we start selling, we want to gather all of that stuff, and then in order to pitch, that's a separate thing. So when you're pitching to somebody, the first thing you want to do is rehash their problems and what information they've given you. Then you want to do an introduction to yourself, what your track record is, what your process will be to solve their problem, and then with a timeline, and then what it costs them at the end. The biggest bit is drilling down on the questions on the needs analysis in terms of, like, what's our close percentage? So, like, I mean, is it like what excludes us from wanting to work with the client? You know, like how many agencies? Like we want to work at exclusive. I mean, and if we want to work it against another agency, that's tough. It can happen. But if it does, we want to be first, or we want to know how long they've been on it. We want to know what they've done so far and where they're falling short. It's all about drilling down to that, like, because it's either the job, the company, or the availability of the candidate. Now, if you pay enough money, you're going to get a candidate. So sometimes the value proposition of the job can be so good that you can get a candidate under the mark financially. But when we're doing this, we should be scoring in our heads. Like, is the leadership team good? Is the company good? Is the actual job and money good? Is the career opportunity good? Is how they're presenting it good? What's their interview process? That's a big one. Is it, and then timeline that. So if I get somebody, can we get them through in 3 weeks, in 2 weeks? How long does it take? What do you need to happen? Who am I dealing with in this process? Is it just you? Is it somebody else? To get this over the line, who else does it have to go to? Like, what does that look like? Because what we want to be able to do is get this signed off and then know everything for the candidate.